Hey, it's Tinla here and welcome back to another episode of Android head unit that I purchased from AliExpress for my 2008 Honda Accord. And for the past 6 months, I've been using this unit. I'm very picky about what apps I'm using on this Android head unit because I know that this is a FAQ specification Android head unit. So if you haven't seen that video that I made to check for the Android head unit specification, go and take a look at it. Okay, I put a link over here. Okay, I have already made reviews basically talking about the hardware and what the issue that I had installing this unit into my 2008 Honda Accord. If you haven't seen that video as well, just go and take a look if you are interested. But in this video, I'm gonna talk specifically about the apps, the software that I put on here. Okay, so I'm gonna talk in order of how often I use the apps. Okay, first of all, the car launcher. Okay, there are so many car launchers on Google Play Store you can download, such as Agama or car launcher, and another famous one, Nova, I believe. But I don't use any one of those. I tried them, but I didn't like it because they don't have the function where you can design your own style for the interface, for user interface like this. They don't have that. But this CarWebGuru launcher that I'm using has the ability to design your own user interface, just like this. Have you seen it over here? So if you see it here, it's very custom that I made for my own. You don't see it anywhere else. That's the reason why I like about the CarWebGuru, and I pay for this app as well, a couple of bucks. Another function that in the CarWebGuru is the ability to do statistic. You can see how many kilometers you've been traveling today, a week, or in a month. If you click on it, it will show where you've been during that specific day. Okay, so that's the statistic side of the CarWebGuru launcher. I used it often, and I design all this buttons on the side. I design all here, But anyway, that's the designing aspect of the CarWebGuru launcher. Okay, that's what I like. Okay, let's talk about the software. The apps that I use most is the Spotify app for streaming music, podcasts, and whatnot. What have you. I use them a lot, so that's why it's popping up on top of my list. For navigations, of course, I either use Google Maps or Waze. Google Map has its own advantage because I can integrate the Google Map navigations in this little tiny section on the CarWebGuru launcher. But the Waze app, that I can see the police report, and usually if I travel on the highway, I usually pop up the Waze app in order to get notified if there's any speed trap. I use Waze in case of that. For the Bluetooth, what it is that the Bluetooth is that you can connect your contacts from the phones connected onto this Android head unit, and you hit the contact list number over here, and if you want to call that person, you click on it and you can call. That's the Bluetooth function. I use them lots of time. Okay, so that's Bluetooth. Also, a YouTube app is for watching videos, but as I said, that this unit is not fast, so sometimes the YouTube would crash. If you're playing like any content at 1080p 60 frames per second, the YouTube app would crash because of the limitation of the Android head unit that I have over here, because it's a FAQ specification, so that's why it doesn't play a good content on YouTube. Okay, if it's 720 at 30 frames per second, it would play just fine. Of course, it has Google Play Store that you can go and download whatever app you want to, but for some reasons, I'm telling you this, some of the apps that they are not allow you to download. Basically, the firmware in this Android head unit kind of like block that app to be installed. You can download it, but it's block you from installing. For instance, some of the apps that you check for the specification of this Android head unit, they blocks it from installing. I don't know, it's kind of weird. For this software, I think this software is fun. This software is that when you activate it, you can view the front camera ahead of you. Okay, you can see the car coming right up. It's live view, okay? Or you can hit this button to see the back view. That car just right there. All right. Sometimes you find it useful if you're towing something at the back and you want to view at the back your trailer or anything. So that's the good function. I don't tow anything, so but that's maybe good function. But it's recording, as you see, it's recording both front and back cameras at the same time into your SD card. Over here, as you see, there's my front camera that I have it set up there. I don't use it, and they often record it in AVI format, which is uncompressed video, and it fills up the memory card quickly. I think I have 64 gigabyte of SD card in there, but it can only hold about 2 or 3 hours of recording at most. It's not a lot because it doesn't do any compression. The camera doesn't do any processing power to it. Another piece of software that I use often is that the home assistant software, which is the smart home automations kind of open source software to control my home with smart devices like switches. So okay, wait, refresh this thing. I think my home assistant server is down or something. There, okay, so it loads up fine. So as you can see, it will tell you my, like a forecast, weather forecast, the CCTV, the camera system that I have, the Toronto radar, and all the light switches that I can control from my car, and my Nest thermostat, and of course the temperature in the past 24 hours is listed on over here. And of course some family members, whether they're home or not, will appears here. So anyways, now if I hit on the camera, I would see my live footage from the camera. Okay, so there it is. So the front door and then my driveway, I can see the live footage. Okay, it's everything connected through Wi-Fi system. Okay, as you can see the Wi-Fi. When I get in here, I use my Samsung Galaxy to enable mobile hotspot, and then the Android head unit that will connect directly to my phone mobile hotspot. So that's how I got the internet. All right. So Z-Link is one of the software that you can enable Android Auto to connect to this Android head unit, which I don't use honestly, because this Android head unit support assistance, so I can directly talk to it and enable it for navigations or for command. For example, let me talk to Google to open like a Spotify app. Okay, Google, play music on Spotify.
All right, music on Spotify. Here you go.
Google Assistant assumes as Android Auto. It does work with Google Assistant, okay? So if I listen to some music, that, let me turn on some Spotify music. Okay, so it's playing some music, and then if I go, okay, so that's the Audio Glow app that I use. The reason I like about this is that it doesn't display any advertising like pop up over here, which is good. So it displays the song that I'm playing on this section. You can fast forward, you can pause it, you can raise the volume and whatnot. That's the Spotify kind of app. Okay, for keeping track of how much fuel my car using, I'm using Fuelio. So I've been recording what I've been using for the past 6 months. Trip log, mileage log, statistic and whatnot. All right, so fuel consumption, monthly cost, so it tells you how much liters that you're filling up your car and how much cost. I'm using this one pretty good. It doesn't display any kind of advertising, fill up cost, total odometers, cost per kilometers, like it tells you it fill up 20 times this year and this month one time, and the total is 900 liters for the past I don't know how many months. The average fuel consumption is 12 liters per 100 kilometers. Anyway, so that's a good option for you to use the app Fuelio, which I use a lot of time every time I fill up my gas. And of course, Google. And this is the settings for the audio system, okay? I don't use it often. Once you set it, you forget it, okay? So that's how I got it set up for my system. And it sounds pretty good. You have to lower the bass frequency down, the level of your bass, so it doesn't make a lot of bass noise. And of course, you use the file manager. I use file manager to basically import the file that I designed for my CarWebGuru launcher. So you can export into this, and you can manage the file. And of course, financing, stock market, a McDonald's app that I use, local music, which is a kind of media player, which I prefer not to use. I rather use VLC app to play music. But since I stream my music most of the time through Spotify, so I don't use that one often. I don't store any MP3 files in my USB and whatnot. I don't do that. I use Spotify. For radio, I rather use my OEM original radio system, because this Android head unit doesn't have any physical connection to the antenna, so it's useless, okay? Basically, if you see the Android head unit that advertised on AliExpress about the radio system, just ignore it. Most of the time, 99% is not gonna work, okay? So if you're buying for North American market, so just ignore that feature. Okay, another feature on AliExpress when they advertise for the Android head unit that you need to ignore is the DAS, driver assist system, which basically I think is a gimmick. It doesn't do anything. All it does is it tell you how far away from your car to the car in front of you, and that's all it does. And it's basically showing the front camera and some lines, whatever, to keep you between the lane, but that doesn't do anything, okay? It doesn't control your car. To me, I think that is a gimmick app, so I don't use it. I don't want to upload my Android head unit with some useless app. So next app, the radio. As I said, the radio doesn't really work, okay? Basically it has nice feature, but this one mostly designed for China market. It's not for a North American market, and unless you hook up into the antenna of your car, it's not gonna work well, okay? So I don't use this one. All right, just go back. And of course, Google, when you sign up for the app, you have a Gmail app to install in your system, but I don't use it. NetNavi, which is the navigation app, which I don't use. I rather use Waze or Maps or Google Maps. And contact, same. It keeps the contact of a lot of people in here through your whatever import from an Google account. Okay, of course, another browser, Google Chrome and video. I think it's a media playing app. I don't use it, but it's there. All right, if you swipe here, there's the next app. So this is their original cassette kind of launcher. And the file manager is original. It's installed with the system. Even if you hit reset, these file will come back. Okay, I think this included with the firmware. It comes with the Android head unit. Okay, for the radio, for streaming radio, I would use the TuneIn Radio app for any kind of radio streaming. Okay, so it's, if you don't know what it is, I think it's one of the best streaming radio. But any streaming radio, it has a delay. Okay, probably about 30 seconds to 1 minute delay between the real content and the streaming app. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Sound recorder, I don't use it. And of course the Google Drive, which is the I use Google Drive in order to transport. I use Google Drive in order to import a file that I designed for my CarWebGuru launcher from my system, from my computer, So, and if that's about it, I don't use for any other things. And of course, SmartThings, which I use sometimes only because I use my home assistant app to control most of my lighting system throughout the house. But just I keep it there just for just in case. And Google Maps Go, which is the lighter version of Google Maps that you can use if your Android head unit is slow. But yeah, I think that some Android head unit that you purchased on eBay is pretty slow. You probably need to have Google Maps Go. It doesn't have a lot of feature, but then again, it's Scott's wiping out my front. Honestly, I don't mind, but you gotta pay attention where you're driving. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
No, I realized that. I thought I was around you. I was trying to avoid the car that was coming down the middle of the road. I should have just made him stop. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Some guy just scraped the front of my car, but that's okay. I let him go. Anyway, that's the experience. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's all the apps that I'm using for my Android head unit. If you have any questions about the apps that I'm using here, please leave a comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions. Okay, I'll happy to reply. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.